So, if you've ever felt that pull towards a spiritual awakening, you probably pictured it as this amazing moment of clarity, right? The moment when everything just clicks. But what if I told you the reality is the complete opposite? What if awakening isn't about you grabbing the wheel, but about you letting it go completely?
And that idea right there, it flips everything we've been taught about control completely on its head. Honestly, it's the key to understanding a journey that so often starts not with a feeling of peace, but with a really profound and confusing storm.
And this brings us to what I call the awakening paradox. You're expecting enlightenment, and instead, you feel like you're in the middle of a crisis. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, I promise you, you are not alone. And more importantly, you're not doing anything wrong. This feeling of disorientation, well, that's actually the first sign that something really profound is happening.
I mean, the contrast is pretty stark, isn't it? We go looking for awakening because we want clarity, but what we get is total disorientation. We're hoping for peace, and we find this deep, unsettling confusion. And here's the biggest one. We think we're finally going to be in control, but the reality is the complete dissolution of the very self we thought we were.
Just think about that for a second. Your identity, your beliefs, all your ambitions, all this stuff that made you feel stable and secure in the world, suddenly it all starts to feel a little hollow. It's like the ground beneath your feet just vanished, and you're left kind of floating in this strange, unfamiliar space with absolutely nothing to hold on to. So, what happens when we feel like we're in a total free fall? Well, our mind, our loyal, problem-solving mind, it just goes into overdrive. It desperately, frantically tries to make sense of all the chaos, but it finds out pretty quick that its old tools are, well, they're useless here. And the ego's reaction is so predictable. First, it tries to fix you, right? It treats this whole thing like it's just another problem to solve. And when that doesn't work, it just doubles down. It thinks harder, analyzes more, tries to logic its way out of the experience. And that usually leads to this frantic chase for a new teacher or a new book, a new workshop, anything that promises a quick fix. And then you hit it, that moment of truth. You realize that all of that effort, all of those mental gymnastics, it just doesn't work. Not anymore. The old logic doesn't apply. The temporary fixes, they don't bring any real peace. You've hit a wall, and your mind has absolutely no way around it. This is when you finally see where the real pain is coming from. See, it isn't the awakening itself that hurts. It's our resistance to it. Every single time you try to fight what's happening, every time you try to force a feeling of peace or wrestle back control, you create this inner friction. And that friction, that's what turns the simple discomfort of change into real suffering. But here's the beautiful part. Right here, in this moment of total exhaustion, when you feel like you can't fight anymore, that's when the turning point becomes possible. When the mind finally admits defeat, something else gets a chance to step forward. And this is the question that just echoes in the silence after the mind gives up. It's both terrifying and totally liberating. Okay, if all my effort is pointless, then what's left? What am I supposed to do? But the answer isn't about doing anything at all. It's about noticing something that's already here. And the big shift is realizing that behind all the chaotic thoughts, behind all the turbulent emotions, there's a silent witness. This is awareness. It's a part of you that is simply present. It doesn't get tangled up in the drama, it just watches. And here's the thing, it's always been there. You were just too busy trying to control everything to notice it. This is the great realization. This is the whole game. You are not the storm. You are the sky that the storm is happening in. You're not the waves. You are the entire ocean. And that simple shift in identity, from believing you're the thinker to realizing you're the observer of the thinker, that is where true freedom begins. Realizing that you're the observer, well, it naturally leads to one word: surrender. But we have to completely redefine what that word means, because our culture sees it as weakness, right? As giving up. But in this context, it is the exact opposite. I mean, there is a world of difference between giving up and letting go. Giving up is passive. It's rooted in defeat and apathy. But letting go, that's true spiritual surrender. And that's an active state. It's choosing trust over fear. It takes immense courage to release control and just align with the flow of life. And that, my friends, is a profound source of power.
This quote says it all, doesn't it? Surrender isn't some empty, resigned state. It's vibrant, it's alive. The real power isn't in trying to bend life to your will, but in releasing the exhausting need to even try. It's about finally stepping out of your own way.
So, what's on the other side of this surrender? What actually happens? Well, when you stop fighting and resisting reality, you don't just find peace. You discover an entirely new way of living in the world. Life stops being a battle to be won and starts becoming more of a dance.
And when this happens, that clarity you were so desperately chasing, it just appears on its own. A quiet, unshakable joy starts to rise up from within, and it's not tied to anything outside of you. You simply stop fighting your own experience. And maybe most beautifully, you allow the greater intelligence of life to start moving through you. You stop trying to swim upstream, only to discover the current was always meant to carry you home.
Now, it's so important to remember this. Surrender isn't a one-time decision. It's not a finish line you cross and then you're done. No, it's a continuous practice. It's a moment-to-moment relationship with life, where you choose to meet what is with openness instead of resistance, over and over and over again.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Just think about the biggest challenge in your life right now, the one thing that's causing you the most friction and pain. What if it isn't a problem to be solved? What if it's simply life's invitation, asking you gently, or maybe not so gently, to finally let go?